thought being read the Riot Act by mum and dad back in the day was bad. In 1714, it could get you killed. So we've all heard about the saying to read the Riot Act. It usually means you're really pissed off at someone. You're going to shout at them. You're going to give them a piece of your mind. You're literally going to read them the Riot Act. But what's the history behind it? Let's find out. So it's the 1710s, and you've got a lot of disorder in the UK, in England, in Scotland, in Ireland. It was all kicking off, basically. And it culminated in the coronation riots, where a lot of people, in England especially, were objecting to, let's say, a German manager. Although these days, we've kind of come to terms with that kind of thing. In response, Parliament passed what was known as the Riot Act in 1714. So what was a Riot Act? It was essentially banning the disorderly conduct of more than 12 people in a public space. So basically, if you were kicking off and there was more than 12 of you, you had to go. But here's the rub. So you couldn't. It wasn't just automatic. What passed for the police back then, or troops, couldn't just turn up and move you on. A magistrate had to turn up and read the following. Now I've just got to. It's a bit of a mouthful, so let me just read it from my computer here. Our sovereign lord, the king, chargeth and commandeth all persons, being assembled, immediately to disperse themselves, and peaceably to depart to their habitations, or to their lawful businesses, upon the pains contained in the act made in the first year of King George, for preventing tumults and riotous assemblies. God save the king. So it's quite a mouthful. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. So you imagine being an old bloke, basically an old magistrate in your 50s or 60s, a bit of a wig on, arthritis, gout, and then somebody shoves this in front of you and say, right, you've got to stand in front of that baying mob and read it out and make sure that everyone hears it. And here's where the big issue happened. A lot of the time it was read, not everyone heard it. So often the result was bloodshed. For example, in the 1768 St George's Field massacre, the Gordon riots of 1780, and most notoriously in the 1819 Peterloo massacre. Nobody heard the proclamation, or not many people heard the proclamation. The original punishment for not leaving within 60 minutes of this proclamation was death by hanging, or being run over by a horse. By 1837, this had been commuted down to just the small matter of being transported to Australia. And by 1857, it had been reduced still further to just breaking rocks, hard labour. By that time, though, the Riot Act had actually fallen out of favour, or fallen out of use. Its last official use was in Birkenhead in 1919, ironically, to quell a strike of policemen. The policemen in Birkenhead decided to go on strike. So the magistrate went, uno reverse. I'm going to read the Riot Act. And troops were deployed to break up the protest. Anyway, follow me for more interesting historical tidbits.